Hello, I am reaching out to you all the way from the land down under. That's right, Australia. We have had a blast with all the things we got to experience, but I wanted to share with you my top 4 favorite places we were able to visit during our time out here. The first place on my list is Circular Quay. This is really like the heart of Sydney. Here you can find public transportation to anywhere in the city. And beyond that, you have amazing sights surrounding the quay. On one side, you have the Sydney Opera House. In the center, there are docks for boats and ships of all sizes, including cruise ships. And on the other side is the Museum of Modern Art. And looking over the whole scene is the Harbour Bridge. You can actually climb the bridge like my husband did. He said it was an amazing experience, and he had the best views of the city. From Circular Quay, you can also take one of the many harbor tour cruises. We got some of our best photos this way. We chose Captain Cook cruises merely based on the departure time that worked best for our schedule, but there are several to choose from. Captain Cook cruises offered a hop-on, hop-off type of thing, and there were several stops where you could get off and explore and then just catch the next boat that came around. We ventured all the way out to Watson's Bay in Manly and came back through the harbor past Taronga Zoo and Luna Park on the way to Darling Harbour. Once back in Circular Quay, you can go to one of the many restaurants that line the area, and there are lots of places to just sit and lounge and kind of take in the scene. It's truly beautiful. If you are lucky enough, you can also see a performance at the Sydney Opera House. We were able to get tickets to Romeo and Juliet. Circular Quay is a must-see for any visit to Sydney. The second spot on my list is Bondi Beach. Bondi is located in the Sydney area. And before arriving in Australia, I saw Bondi Beach on pretty much every list of must-see beaches that I came across. I also read a lot about it being too touristy, with lots of suggestions for less crowded beaches. However, the first place we headed after landing in Sydney and dropping off our stuff was Bondi. For me, it did not disappoint. There are few places in the world more beautiful than Bondi. Across the street from the beach, there are numerous shops and restaurants, and the beach itself was nice, but the water was amazing. It is a stunning bluish-green color that is accented by the white caps of the waves. Our good friend and tour guide took us to a restaurant that overlooked the water called the Icebergs Dining Room and Bar. Now, you must show your ID to get in, but it does not matter where you're from. The food was affordable and tasted pretty good, but the view was priceless. The beach itself was not too busy, as we were there on a Tuesday afternoon at the beginning of the fall season. But 2 days after we were there, Hugh Jackman, yes, Wolverine, made headlines for saving his son and another swimmer from drowning at that very beach. I highly recommend a dip in the water at Bondi. The third place on my list is in a town called Beerwah in Queensland. After exploring Sydney and spending the Easter holiday in the resort town of Foster, we hopped on a plane and headed for Brisbane. Since Australia is so massive and our time was so limited, we opted for traveling between cities by airplane. The flight from Sydney to Brisbane was just a little over an hour. We rented a car in Brisbane and drove to Beerwah, a small town to the north. We stayed at a wonderful Airbnb just a couple of miles from the Australia Zoo, which is what brought us to Beerwah. This is the zoo that was run by Steve Irwin and now managed by his widow and kids. This is by far the most incredible zoo I have ever visited. The animals looked healthy and well cared for. There were countless opportunities to interact with the animals. We actually got to feed kangaroos, cuddle koalas, and hang out with a tiger. They also put on some great shows that were entertaining and educational. This is a great site for the whole family. I'm at the zoo, the Australia Zoo, and we're gonna go pet koala bears in just a little bit. But here's a little friend of mine munching down on some food. And I don't know if you can see, there's more well, where are they? Let me turn you around. Well, I can't turn you around. You can see they're just kind of lounging all over the place. I don't know if you can see back there in the trees, there's kangaroos everywhere. But here's a little baby one eating. Hi, baby. The final location on my list is Cairns, Queensland. This is the last stop on our Australian adventure, and it is located in the northeast corner of Australia. It was about a 2-hour flight from Brisbane to Cairns. We had a little time to explore the city. We stayed in another great Airbnb, which was a high-rise overlooking the Esplanade and the water. We did a lot of souvenir shopping here and got some great deals on Australian opals. We also visited an ice cream shop that uses liquid nitrogen to make ice cream and sorbet. It was super cool to watch. But the real reason we ventured all the way north was to see the Great Barrier Reef. We booked a snorkeling tour through Sea Star Cruises. It was about an hour ride to our first stop at Michaelmas Cay. This is a small island covered with seabirds. It was a great way to be introduced to snorkeling the reef. We were actually able to wade into the water, and then the guide took about 20 minutes pointing out various coral and sea life. We got to explore on our own after that. During this time, I got to see the real Nemo and swim alongside a sea turtle. It was an absolutely exhilarating experience. We loaded back up on the boat and had a small lunch while heading to our second location, Hastings Reef. Here, we actually had to jump off the boat to go explore. The tour took about 5 hours from start to finish. The only thing I would recommend is not doing this excursion 8 weeks pregnant. Big waves, a little ship, and a queasy tummy do not mix. The staff was great, though, and helped everyone who got sick. There you have it, the top 4 highlights of our trip down under. Thanks for listening.